All right, Shalom. This is the brother lawyer
And Shamar,
from the Great Millstone Miami camp. First and foremost, we want to give all praises to
to
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahashem,
Bahashem,
Yahweh Shai.
Yahushai.
First, double honors to the elders of Great Millstone and salutations to all the Akim out there pushing the word of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai in truth and sincerity. Today we're going to do a lesson, a sit down on the Cashless Society and the Mark of the Beast and Revelations, man, and how the two pretty much go hand in hand. Lord willing, this video is edifying to the elect of the nation of Israel, man, who are watching the signs and who are serving the Lord in fear and truth and in sincerity. So without further ado, man, we have an article here called "The Shift to a Cashless Society is Snowballing," and it's an article that was put up on a website called thevisualcapitalist.com. It's by Jeff Desjardins, and it was posted May 17th, 2016. So it's fairly old, about 5 months old, but the information on it is pretty spot on. So the article begins. It says the shift to a cashless society is snowballing. Love it or hate it, cash is playing an increasingly less important role in society, and that's pretty much true, man. Most payments and transactions today, especially in the United States and in not Eastern, but Western Europe, are mostly made by electronically, whether it be by card or by mobile devices. It's not so much made with paper cash or paper money or physical tangible money that you can actually touch. Is usually digital. Okay. It says in some ways this is great news for consumers. The rise of mobile and electronic payments means faster, convenient, and more efficient payments in most instances. So this is portrayed as something that's very trendy, which it is. Especially for the younger generation of millennials and things of that that age group or that demographic of people. You got your mobile phones, your smartphones, your iPhones, and things of that nature. Watches, different kinds of apps that allows you to make payments in advance to buy certain goods, or just use those on the spot to buy certain goods, man. So it's real trendy, and people are hip to it, man. It's something cool. You don't have to always walk around with your wallet or with your credit cards or with cash period anymore.
And they try to make it seem cool to use to go cashless. For example, when Samsung began that Android Pay thing, if you had a Chase card for every time you use a Chase your Chase card on that on a mobile device, man, it will give you $20, man. $20 on the Chase would add $20 onto your account just for using that app, man, or for using the card on that app, man. So it's like it's encouraging you to use it, man, and especially like the Apple Watches, it's getting more and more. It's making it seem like it's more and more convenient. Like with the Apple Watch, now you don't even have to walk around with your phone anymore. Everything is on the watch. So it's like you leave your phone at home, you don't have to worry about it getting robbed.
Right.
You leave your wallet at home, you don't got to worry about it getting robbed. All you got is a watch, and you can pay with your watch. You can read your messages on your watch and stuff like that. So it's like this. The agenda of these elites is like is pushing towards the hip side of it, man.
Yeah, for the most part, that's what it appears to be, because eventually, what's really gonna happen is that these various world governments are gonna move, or not only just move, but they're gonna put the world economy in a situation where cash has to be done away with. So pretty much get the people hip to it now, especially the younger generation and the new generation that's coming up, so that when that transition takes place, people will already be accustomed to using it. And it won't have to be something that has to necessarily be taught or explained. It'll just be something that's well known.
Hey, what Whitney Houston said, I believe the children are the future. Yeah, these elites believe the same thing, man. Mm-hmm. The elites are they putting it all on TVs. You see it all on the commercials.
Yep.
Your kids watch Nickelodeon and they see a commercial comes by and the guy's paying for flowers with a phone, all right, and stuff like that. In terms as that child gets older, or our generation, the '90s kids or whatnot, want to be hip with technology. When the older heads get old and decrepit, man, they won't fight, and they won't rebel against the shit, because hey, the mass majority of people are adolescents and youths and shit, man. They're gonna be for it, man, because it's hip.
Exactly.
You know.
It says new technologies are being built and improved to facilitate these transactions, and improving security is also a priority for many payment providers. And that's another thing. They always talk about how these new payment systems, these new cashless payment systems, are more encrypted and more secure. But the thing is that with these encrypted programs and systems to facilitate these transactions, you have different kinds of crimes that are also taking place. People are hacking into the system and things of that nature. So all of this that's being said in this second piece, or the second section, is really just fluff, because these security systems can be hacked. Okay, and on top of that, and if these new payment methods are so encrypted, that means that somebody has to be regulating them. So if the world does move the whole world does move to a cashless society, then that must mean that there has to be a certain entity that will be responsible for strictly regulating these transactions taking place. And if that's the case, then that means that this entity has the power to ration out the amount of digital currency that's in the system, Salaki, and control, pretty much control whether or not these transactions can take place or not. The next part, it says, however, there is also a darker side in the shift to a cashless society. Governments and central banks have a different rationale behind the elimination of cash transactions. As a result, the so-called war on cash is on. So it tells you right there that these governments and central banks have an incentive. They have a motivation behind getting rid of cash transactions. And it says the war on cash is on. So pretty much, these central banks have the power over the economy, and if they're saying that there's a war on cash, then that means that they themselves are planning to get rid of paper money circulating in the system, and that also means that they're more than likely in league with many of the corporations and companies, tech companies, that are also pushing these technologies to facilitate cashless digital transactions. I'm gonna skip down to the darker side of cashless, brother, if you don't mind scrolling down. There we go. It says the darker side of cashless. The shift to a cashless society is gaining momentum in Germany, but it is not because of the willing adoption from the general public, right? Because as far as the masses go, the masses are just looking at it as a trend. You can either do it or not do it. You either want to do it or you don't. It's something cool. You don't got to do it. We have the option of, either getting the app or using cash. But the governments, on the other hand, they're not thinking that way. They're thinking that this is something that that'll be better for the economy and country and world economy as a whole. That's what they're thinking. Okay, so the general public is generally basically doesn't have a say in this new global trend, and economic trend that's pretty much spreading around the world like a virus. Okay, according to Handelsblatt, a leading German business newspaper, a proposal to eliminate the 500 euro note while capping all cash transactions at 5,000 was made in February by the junior partner of the coalition government. So again, these decisions are made by the government. Okay, they're not being made by your average citizen. So these governments are pretty much, not only are they administering policies that are pretty much limiting the amount of transactions you can make with cash, but they're also inventing policies to actually just do away with cash at a period. And this is out of the public's hand. This is out of the eye of the public. This is not something that's going to be consented on by the public, period. Okay. The next part, it says governments have been increasingly pushing for a cashless society. ostensibly by having a paper trail for all transactions, such as a move would decrease crime, money laundering, and cash taxation. And that's also another excuse that governments and pretty much the media, which is controlled by the government, likes to use every now and then to propose that removing cash, tangible cash from the system, or pretty much from society would be good. You know, because they're saying, well, if you remove paper cash, then it will reduce, you know, crime and money laundering and tax evasion. So we can, if we go to a cashless society, it will be better for everyone because it will reduce crime.
Well, and the thing is the government gonna have different angles at it. One is gonna be, you know, less crime. People won't rob you as much.
Mm-hmm.
All right. 2, money laundering. 3, tax evasion. And the biggest front that they're gonna push is it's gonna be easier for them to control terrorism, man.
Yeah.
Cause how does terrorists get guns? With cash, man. The thing is these elites, man, they want to push forth the cashless society so they can regulate everything.
That's right.
So they could watch everything. So they could be that big brother in the book of 1984, man. So they can see everything that goes on in the world, man. Because right now the thing is with money, with the fiats being flowed and the notes and the yens being flowed in this society, there's a black market, and that black market is uncontrolled. Nobody runs that black market but the dollars itself, man. Mm-hmm. If you want oil, let's say if I don't know if you brothers ever seen that Fast Five movie, man. The beginning of the movie, Vin Diesel and them, they robbed the fucking gas truck. Mm-hmm. They robbed the gas truck, and then at the end of the night, they were selling the gas to racists, to street racists for cash. All that gas was, the government wanted the money from it, but they can't regulate it because the shit got robbed, and now somebody else is selling it on the black market. Just like the guns, man. Guns will go. People buy guns on the black market. Next thing you know, somebody dies over here. Somebody dies over here. Somebody who has a motive to want to go shoot up a government building could go do it, and they're gonna push it as, okay, we want to keep society safer. So to do away with terrorism, to do away with crime, to do away with people getting your taxes and stuff like that, let's do away with all money. They're gonna push it like the dollar bill is the problem, man.
Exactly, but in order for them to really do that, like the brother was saying, again, they're gonna make all these. Basically, they're gonna make all these boogeymen, right? Mm-hmm. But the thing is, they pushing cashless society as a contingency plan against terrorism, against crime, against the so-called black market. But guess what? They're the ones who fund the terrorists, yep. Okay? They're the ones who's putting drugs in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. They're the ones who's putting guns in the neighborhood, okay? They're the ones who's facilitating the biggest scams on the planet, man. All right, so they're the one who's funding the problem so that they can come with the solution, man.
Reaction solution.
That's pretty much what they're doing, man. They're manipulating the global market. Okay, at the same time, they're manipulating the market. They also funding the terrorism. They're funding the problems, man. So that they can sway the people to where they want the people to be, man. And once that cashless society is implemented, and they actually have a system to where this cashless society is being regulated, pretty much they're the ones who's going to be in control. Because they're the ones who had the innovators of the technology in their back pocket in the first place, mm-hmm. Okay, and because they have that, they're the ones who have the say so of how much digital currency is in the system in the first place, man. So they could choose whether or not they allow you to make these transactions or not, and that's pretty much what the Book of Revelation goes into, man, where it says small and great, free and bond, man. Shall receive a mark in his right hand or his forehead, man. Which we're gonna get into it in a little minute, man. After we read this last piece, man. It says again back at the article, says France's finance minister recently stated that he would fight against the use of cash and anonymity in the French economy in order to prevent terrorism and other threats. Meanwhile, former Secretary of the Treasury and economist Larry Summers has called for the scrapping of the U.S. $100 bill, the most widely used currency note in the world. So here it is, the Secretary of Treasury as of May 17th, 2016. I'm not sure if he actually said it then, but this is news from this year, man. Suggested that the U.S. dollar, the most widely used currency note in the world, should be scrapped, meaning done away with, man. All right, and the U.S. economy is one of the largest economies on the planet, man, right now, man. So once, if the United States, once something starts trending in the United States and Western Europe, the whole world's gonna follow, man.
But that's the thing though, because Europe started it first. They got rid of their $500 pound note. The thing is, just like the brother Lloyd sent me a video earlier. Dude was talking about them getting rid of the 500 euro note. Reason being is because you go into a little store. They don't fucking have change for the shit. So now they gonna try to make it seem like the thing is there's so much money in circulation, but there's not really money in the circulation. Nobody has money though. Where is it all at? So you come to me. I have a little small store, and I've only done services for like 3 or 4 people. You want to come buy something from me, but you only have $100 bill. I have no change. So what? Now they gonna say, all right, you know what? Since you going to different places and there's problems like this, fuck the money. Use this or use this chip. Now everybody's gonna be able to do transaction without the dollar, man.
Exactly, man. Exactly. And then that's why the scriptures call it the mark of the beast, man. The beast is pretty much NATO along with the EU, which would be the 10 horns, man. That's why it's called the mark of the beast, because the nations that are pushing this cashless society are part of this new beast, man. Okay, in Revelations 13, man. All right, so with that being said, let's get into the scriptures, man, about this mark, and also the scriptures on the judgments, man. Okay. We could go into the concordance, Hawk.
Oh, you wanted to go into the concordance, but so what you got? Revelation 13.
Yeah.
What you want?
Yeah. Verse 16. Yeah. Let's start there.
All right. This is Revelations 13 and 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their forehead. In their right hand, or in their foreheads.
Right. It says, for he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hands or in their forehead. Right. Okay. And then what does it say next? Go ahead.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Right, man. Okay, and that's pretty much going into the barcode system, and that mark is pretty much that mark goes back to the Greek word salakia, karagma, man. Okay, and karos, which means an incision, man. Okay, but notice how it says he causeth both small and great, rich and poor, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their forehead, that no man might buy or sell. So in order for this to be implemented as currency, and the only currency, that must means that the old currency was done away with, man.
All other forms of currency.
Exactly. All other forms of currency was done away with in order to include the mark. Yeah. Introduce the mark.
Including paying with your iPhone, your Samsung, your Apple Watch. All that is gonna be done away with, man. And it's gonna be only one way that you're gonna be able to buy or sell or do any type of transactions, man. And that's that RFID chip, which is the mark of the beast, which is going to be heavily encrypted, as you said, and what a heavy encrypted piece of technology that means somebody must regulate it, and which is the elites themselves, man. Mm-hmm. They want to watch all that transaction. That's why it says everybody gonna have it, man. They want to control everybody. They want to watch everybody, man. And the way you watch somebody is you got to watch their pockets. You got to see how they move, man, with their money. You see what they spend, so you can know what to regulate, man. You know.
Which means that this pretty much is for this current system of currency, man. All this shit's gonna be done away with, man. And this scripture right here proves that there's gonna be a global economic crisis, man. Okay, mm-hmm. It's already been being talked about. All right, it's been being talked about, and it's still being talked about. All right, more and more in these last days, man. Okay, and eventually it's gonna come to a head to the point where, yo, man, this is the new system. This is the only way we got to go, man, because that old system is crashed. You know, they gonna come out with all kind of fluff and excuses and whatever, man. And you know, of course, crime crime is gonna be up. World War III is already on the brink, man. Okay, it's already happened. So with those two things, global sedition, okay, and the threat of world war, this is gonna seem like a solution, man. Okay, this is gonna seem like the way out.
They're gonna paint it as the way out.
Yeah.
Fucking devils. So it says the mark of the beast. That fucking devil, man.
Khan. Salakia. Let's get into the word mark, man.
You could just click there.
Yeah? Alright, my bad. I can still click it?
Yeah, just click there.
Right.
Cancel.
Alright, the word mark, man. Like brothers are always going to, man. Strong's G5480 Karagma. Alright? And it says a stamp and imprinted mark. And then, you know, it starts pretty much going into madness. It says the mark branded upon horses. Interesting. Because back in the ancient world, they would brand marks upon animals and horses to mark their property. To identify their property, too. It says a scratch or etching. Alright? Karagma, from the same Strong's G5482, a scratch or etching, a stamp of or sculpture, statue, graven mark. Okay, so basically the word is synonymous with to scratch or etch into something. Right, and then it goes into the word karax. Okay, Strong's G5482 karax, and it means a pale or stake. All right, a palisade, a pale or stake, pales between which earth, stone, trees, and timbers are heaped and packed together. All right, so this is pretty much something that you would use to mark your land. Okay, mark your property. You would put the pale around the property to identify the limits of your property. Okay. It says Carasso, to sharpen to a point akin to G1125 through the idea of scratching, a stake, by implication a palisade or rampart. Okay, so basically something that's stuck into you, pretty much. You know, something that's pierced into you.
Hit cancel if you want to scroll.
Con. You got any other points out?
Well, the Karak, where it said, you know, like branding the horse. What comes to mind is that scripture where, you know, every year, or I think it's like every 7th year, you're supposed to like release your service or something.
Yeah.
And those who want to continue to be the master slave. Master would take him to the door and put an awl through the ear.
Right.
Basically, that's what the chip is. These elites are going to basically force you to force you into submission and force you into willfully becoming their slave forever, man.
Right. Basically, you telling the elites that they own you, man.
Yeah.
You basically pretty much showing your allegiance to this idol, man, the image of the beast, man. Okay, and the image of the beast is pretty much his power and authority over the planet Earth, man. You trust in him that he's your God, man. All right, because that's pretty much what they used to do in the ancient world, man. You served a certain god or you served a certain master, and you would pretty much etch the mark or symbol of that master into your skin, man. Okay, or cut it into your flesh, man. Tattoos and shit, pretty much, man. That's how they used to do it back in the ancient world.